Champion Simon, and we know that as events unfold, you would keep us informed. Well, no doubt the issue of kidnapping, insurgency, banditry for ransom, they continue, and that's persistently created tension all over the place. Of course, the latest you are aware of is what happened in Zamfara State, and most certainly something that would give anyone concern.
You know, something that Emperor mentioned just now about information, because information is very key. When there's the absence of it, there's a gap. People would try to fill in that gap, and
Most
sometimes
certainly.
with misinformation.
Most
So
certainly.
we'll be looking forward to the Niger State government giving us more information on what is going on.
Just so as to just so as to allay fears and let's not even
put
give
things
room.
in the right perspective.
Yeah, let's not even give room for fake news to strive. But let's have this conversation with retired Deputy Inspector General of Police Joshua Habila. He joins us from our Abuja studio. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Most certainly, this is cheering news, and it would seem like this is like the pattern now. You kidnap children, and then you release them. You kidnap children, and then you release them all in a whole, except the Chibok girls. Once any set of children are kidnapped, every one of them, or almost every one of them, are released, and we hear from what government says, no ransom is paid. What do you think is going on?
Well, thank you for having me. I think it does appear as if there's a script, or there was a script that has been written, and this script is also being played out. I think the perpetrators of this crime have something up their sleeves. And I think the earlier, the better drastic action are taken. Otherwise, I can see a situation where the bandits or these criminals have really studied what they want to do, and the script they've written, they've rehearsed. And this is what they're trying to play. And in doing that, we have to cut it off from the point of the fact that they have a script with them already rehearsed. If we don't do that, I can see that there's a lot of ideas they want to play out to ensure that schools, particularly the young ones in the secondary school, particularly the female, are completely discouraged from thinking of attending schools anymore. And so I think we must move quickly to ensure that these scripts are not rehearsed again and then played out.
It's interesting, the perspective that you've taken it from, talking about a script. And if there's a script, that means there was some thought into it and the script is written. What does this say about our intelligence gathering in terms of, our security agencies finding out about the scripts and, nipping some of these abductions in the bud?
Yeah, the intelligence is not effective. It's not effective because most of the security, whether the military, whether the police, the civil defense, and everybody that is in security, intelligence have not been strengthened, and also we've not imbibed the modern technology that we could have a lot of information without really truncating all those forests and doing a lot of walking and a lot of visiting to get these facts. We are still retaining the human factor of intelligence, and it's slow. And then we haven't. The intelligence is not working. And also, that in those days when we have police stations in the remote areas known as the police post, we have police post, we have police station before police division. We do not have those once again, because I can't imagine how people will walk into a school, pick those children at their own pace of time, and take them out without fear or entertaining the fact that they could be stopped from doing that. There's a lot of emptiness. There's a lot of ungoverned areas, and something quickly must be done to make sure that intelligence is strengthened. Really, there are no intelligence apparatus and people that gather intelligence in the rural area, and some of the suburb is absent.
Well, it's interesting that you bring in the issue of intelligence here. So, first of all, you talked about a script being played out. And if there is such a thing indeed, one would expect that intelligence would have picked up on that, and we would know exactly what we are contending against. Now, seems to be repetitive kidnap of children, soft targets, you call them. If there is a game plan, what should the authorities be looking at now, especially the police and other security agencies?
Yes, I expect the police and other security agencies to have it at the back of their mind that these people are not just doing it randomly. Remember, they're not just looking for anybody on the street. Remember also that they let some people go. They let some people also go to farm and decided to come into the cities. And they're trying to deal with students of secondary school and sometimes trying to leverage on women, on ladies, on girls. And you see, already we have an issue of lack of interest in seeking for knowledge from our small children, particularly the female type. And so it is true that these bandits have an idea as to who is their next target. And that's what they do. And so it means that they are aware. It means that they don't go hunting. And therefore, we must take a step. The government must ensure that they strengthen the intelligence of the security forces up to the rural areas. We must also know that these forests must also be taken care of. We used to have what we call Operation Sharandaje, and all the Northwest government brought together security agencies and the police, and they were combing these bushes. We need to go into these forests. We need to go in there and see what is happening. Without that, it won't work. We must have intelligence that will enable us to break through into where these people are. Otherwise, they will keep coming and doing what they're doing.
Well, it's a big otherwise that you have just raised there, and there's so much to discuss along that line. But let's take a short break for a few messages, Mr. Habila. When we come back, we'll take on more of these angles. Thanks for staying with us. Well, Mr. Habila, the issues are right there in front of us right now. And one of the things that we have also heard about this, I don't know if it is something you would want to also confirm, that the diversion tactic, so to speak, or the art of deception, some have said, which is one of the strategies of war, was engaged, in this new abduction of the Jangebe girls. Now, that is definitely something that would give one concern, because while contending with one, another one was going on the other end. And in all of these, one again would ask the question, is it a failure of intelligence or absence of it?
I think we better say this absence of intelligence, because I don't think we've leveraged on a very robust intelligence. There's also an ungoverned space. I've said it here before that the police have completely been relegated. The funding is not there, and we've been able to also take them out from the rural areas. We used to have police posts where even movement of criminals, those criminal elements in the small community, almost identified by these police officers. But you see, we've concentrated in the city, and we've not been able to provide enough, and then spread and get more police and spread them out, who will also enlist the support of the communities wherever they find themselves, so that we can leverage. You can imagine the Zamfara on, that they came in midnight, and they went in and spent a lot of time, and also went in with vehicles, and they were ordering these children into the vehicles. You could imagine the kind of time and the relaxation they had to be able to evacuate them. So we need to do something quickly. I think there's absence of intelligence. And also there are a lot of ungoverned space that we've left and it's telling us on the face.
Yesterday, we saw the Commissioner of Police in Zamfara State, saying that he's been combing the forest areas and, looking for these girls that have been abducted. In terms of moving these girls, a lot of people are thinking, if you are talking about 300 people, how many vehicles would you need to move such people? That number of school children. And that brings me to the question of, is there something missing in terms of, because in these areas we have the security operatives that are supposed to be around to ensure that some of this kind of attacks don't happen. Does it mean that there was complete absence of some of the security operatives that should have been along the way?
Yes, most of the activities by the security agencies, whether the military or the police or those in charge of intelligence, is reactive. We do not have the ability, if you go to Zamfara. I've been to Zamfara. I've used the helicopter. I've also used patrol vehicle for weeks and weeks and weeks. It's very, very difficult to dominate the kind of forest we have in Zamfara. Spanning from that Kagara, from the Kagara in Niger State, there's a forest, a forestry area that span through what we call Dansadao up to Bokium and the whole of that area. And so it's not possible to be able to place policemen, and policemen or any security agents would have not known that there is going to be this incident, and then you now send them. Where they are, these criminals avoid them. They structure their roads in a way that they will not come face to face with the police. And that's why we're saying that bringing in ideas of trying to look at the kind of security personnel we have, to build their capacity, and to be able to also ensure that there are more of them. And doing that, that's why we're talking about bringing in the communities, enlisting their support, working with them. They will be able to pick piece of information. If we have a lot of them that work with the police, right in that area, wherever they are going, someone is likely to see when they come in and when they are going out, and he will alert the police. Not doing that will let the public support these criminals, because sometimes they have a part in it. They're very generous to them. Sometimes they also, I think, woo them up into their side. And that's why when they pick these people and when they go in a long distance with vehicles and the rest of it, nobody reports. And this is the gap that I think is not quite encouraging.
Okay, so there was a call for the replacement of the service chiefs. And of course, that has been done. And significantly, the very day that the service chiefs were being confirmed or screened at the National Assembly was when the Kagara boys abduction or the school abduction happened. If you have any word for the service chiefs this morning, what would it be in terms of, nipping some of these attacks in the bud?
Okay, yes, I have opportunity in my service to work very closely with the service chiefs and the military officers. I'm sure a lot of them know me. We plan operation together, and we go out there, whether it's in Boniadi, in Yobe, or it is Operation Lafia Dole in Meduguri, and then a lot of it in Benue. They know. And I think I've represented the police, and they also have worked with us. What I should say now is that these criminal elements want to demonstrate that you can change the service chiefs, and we're going to go ahead with this. They're just trying to make some careless statement that nobody is going that the changes will not affect their criminal activities. And so I believe that the service chiefs that are out from their outburst and from what they've been saying, I think they must be on the drawing board now. And like I said, this operation Sharandaje, all of them, all security agencies must move into this forest and comb the forest.
Okay.
To wait to react, it might be late.
Even though a good number of people are also wondering, okay, so if we know where these criminals are and we have reports of people having conversations with them, why have we not picked them up? But all of that we can leave to another day for the same conversation. But we'll have to thank you very much right now, retired Deputy Inspector General of Police, Joshua Habila. Thank you so much for your time and your thoughts this morning.
Thank you for having me.